man, this is a breeze. I'm just going to let my body go now. This piece of machinery is built for high speed. It totally loves high speed, just like we do. A wonderful good day to you, dear friends of fine motorsports. There is really something to enjoy, so I'm trying to get myself in the mood here at the beginning of the video. Today, we indulge in English craftsmanship and German engineering with a car that is truly one of the most beautiful cars out there. Feel free to express your opinions, but I truly believe an Aston Martin DB12 is among the most beautiful cars in the world because it is so rare. So special, so incredibly exclusive, and of course so very expensive. Yes, it's definitely not cheap, but let's take a brief look at the car from the outside now. This paint, I must say, is absolutely stunning. But unfortunately, I can't tell you what the color is called because Aston Martin simply hasn't informed us. Aston Martin hasn't told us either. Not sure why, but they also haven't told us what the car costs. So 225,000 euros as a base price. That's crazy expensive, like seriously expensive. And honestly, it's probably going to get way more pricey because the extras in this car are just insane. I'd say we're easily talking 300,000 here. We wanted to check it out from the outside. Super long hood, gorgeous setup, and the way the back window curves down. Looks absolutely awesome. The DB12 doesn't really look that different from the DB11, the previous model, which came with either a V8 or a V12. But now, the DB12 only has... The AMG V8 here doesn't push 612 horsepower like in the E-Class. It's got 680 horsepower instead. So we're dealing with a car here that has 680 horsepower, and yet the car is relatively light at 1,780 kilos. That makes it about 70 kilos lighter than a BMW M4 Dot. So yeah, no more V12, it's all 8 cylinders now. But that also has its advantages because a V8 is naturally lighter. You can position it differently, and that's why Aston managed to achieve an almost 50-50 weight distribution. 48, 52. I think it's 48 rear, 52% front. This setup aims to improve the car's handling. All that we're going to check out today. We're going to hit the country road, and later this evening we said 325 kilometers per hour. If the highway is clear, we'll hit the highway. Then we're really going to push this beast, testing its limits. We'll see if it can actually reach 325 kilometers per hour. It should be quite an experience if the highway stays clear, which I really hope it does. So, around 8 or 9, we'll head to the Autobahn, and that's when things will get really exciting. We're all about the V8 now, no more V12. That's a big change, but there's an even bigger one inside. I'm not quite sure how to explain it, so we'll compare the old and new versions, and I just started the car now. And then we have the scissor doors. The scissor doors, guys. The scissor doors, we'll get to them in a moment. I wanted to show you the interior. Have a look at this. It's completely different stuff, totally unique. I honestly think it's turned out really well and looks absolutely fantastic. And in contrast to its predecessor, it genuinely has a seriously impressive interior game. Once you start it, why is it not turning on? I did press down on the brake pedal. All right, so he actually decided to get it going. The funny thing, or, well, not so funny, is that this has happened a few times before where I pressed it and thought, why isn't it turning on? That can't be. Oh well, never mind. So we wanted to look at the interior. This is the display screen. Plus, there are a multitude of buttons, controls, and knobs here, all extremely well organized. Aston Martin typically has the seat adjustment on the right side. On the left, it's just the window controls and opening the headroom. So here we have, I believe it's also from Mercedes, a steering wheel, which I personally consider quite very... looks Aston Martini. The paddle shifters are extremely well made. The special thing is, when you pull them, they make no sound, but when you release them, it's different, it's something new. Aston Martin often does this. They really remind me of the BMW M4 paddles. Then we have a display here too. You can say what you want. Whether you like it or not, it's a display now. That's a bit Mercedes-like too, because this division here with right and left, and also the control here, it works well. Similar to Mercedes. So there's still a touch of Mercedes-like feeling remaining here. But it's really done so well. This center console here, in my opinion, turned out extraordinarily nice and impressive. It kind of reminds me of Bentley, honestly. The build quality is amazing, with serious attention to detail. That's really a huge leap that Aston Martin's made. They've definitely taken things to the next level. Regarding the craftsmanship, it's top-notch. Just take a last look at how impressive this appears. This stitching here, hey, it's so beautiful. Then you have this middle section. Seats back there, we'll get to those as well. But here, stitching and stuff, leather and Alcantara, all leather, everything. Everything here, down to the last corner, is leather. Even in the smallest details, the quality is impressive. Then here.
No, colleague, so the sun visor. Then here, this is truly chrome. Well, that's really nicely done.
Door opening. Mega good, just very, very nice. And now let's briefly get to the topic of scissor doors. So, scissor doors. The doors open with a motion that moves in an upward direction, somewhat similar to swan neck mechanisms. That's truly well crafted, and what's really cool about it is that it not only looks fantastic, but it also makes a tremendous amount of sense. Why? Well, we have one that's a super sports car, you could certainly say, with 680 horsepower. And then you park it on the sidewalk. The door opens in an upwards direction, and this smart design ensures there's absolutely no risk of it getting hit by the curb, even if it's a bit higher than what you would typically expect. I find that truly sensational. I really think it's great. It's not just something pretty to look at where you think, oh, check this out, the design is unique and the doors open differently. However, it indeed truly has a function. It prevents any scratches down here when the sidewalk happens to be just a little higher than usual. I want to show you all the engine. Where exactly is the hood release? In every single car, the hood release is, of course, here. It's not here, since this is an English car, built and designed to be a right-hand drive vehicle. The hood release lever is placed on the right-hand side, situated in the footwell, precisely where you generally expect to find it. Let's open it up. Oh wow, and there it is. The V8's really pushed way back here with the turbochargers in the hot inner V all the way back, which gives it a pretty cool setup. And that's why the weight distribution has become so good. Hand-built in Great Britain, final inspection by Pedro Costa. Pedro Costa. Oh right, that's the air ducting, yeah? These here are real air vents. Air genuinely comes out here. This isn't fake, I really like that too. Yep, as I said, 680 horsepower, 800. Newton meters of torque and a gorgeous exterior. I spotted one small detail, right here at the bottom. Don't you see by the sun now? They've put some lighting down there. And on the official Aston Martin website, it specifically mentions a feature called puddle lighting. Puddle lighting. You absolutely have to have puddle lighting, my friend. It's crucial, so you don't end up getting your stylish pumps all dirty here. That's exactly how it is. So the exterior remained pretty much the same. The interior is genuinely all new. It's exceptionally good, and it has an incredibly sleek appearance. I'd say it's truly Bentley-like. And you all know how much I love Bentley. It just fits so perfectly. Such a beautiful and elegant interior. Also here, for example, this flap. How it opens. So the compartment isn't particularly large, logically, but how it closes. The sound doesn't appear so great here. But in reality, trust me on this, it's all really very solid. Nothing's wobbling, not like with McLaren. It's honestly awesome. Really well done. The seats, the sports seats, man, how that looks. Everything's leather here, all of it. Here's a really beautiful leather sling. And notice this part? It's leathered too, my guys. So take a look here. Over here as well, you can see the leather. Right there, the Aston Martin DB12. A nice aluminum strip indeed. This is also leather. This is also leather. You never see that. In many, many other cars, that's not leather. That's not real. And there's even leather here. Look, you can really see that this is leather. Totally obvious, right? But guess what? There's leather here as well. That's honestly insane. It's really not something you see every day, dude. Wow, and down here, of course, yes, down here also leather. Naturally, inside the compartment as well, leather. Well, I'll put it this way. They most definitely didn't hold back at all. Now let's take another look underneath here, since we're already down here. This too is leather, of course. Down here, naturally, it's leather as well. Everything is leather, truly every part is leather. Let's take a look now because it's a 2+2 seater. So this is how I would sit in here. This is my usual seating position. Now we're going to take a look and see whether I can actually fit into the back, or if it's just impossible, like maybe it's only meant for small kids to sit there. Peel it off once at the back. There you go. So, head space, there's none back there. I'm moving the seats now. Okay, honestly, I'm not sure, but I can sit here if it's absolutely necessary. In the most urgent cases, I can actually manage to sit here. Although I can't keep my head upright, I actually need to lay my head down like this to fit. Or like this, or like this, or like this, or like this. And then I'm already making out with my passenger here. Should we really drive in there with 4 people now? So, now I want to try if I can still drive in the front, so I don't mess up the position. Do I have to climb out now, right? Let's attempt it without making any scratches on the leather. Bro. Now I've got my feet ridiculously tangled up. The typical problems of supercar drivers. I totally get it now. So we're heading out here.
How can I do this right now? Nope.
Under no circumstances should I touch the leather at all. I peeled myself out. So, can I still drive now if I'm sitting in the back myself? Looks pretty tight, huh? The seat stopped by itself. In the worst case, it works. In an absolute emergency, you could drive like that. But I'll just readjust my seat to where it was earlier. And now, only children can sit back there. Have I mentioned everything? I believe so. No, wait, actually, yes. I did forget one more thing. The rear view mirror. Frameless. I genuinely find it to be really, really cool. Unfortunately, though, I feel that they are slightly tilted downwards. It seems a little bit sad. Don't you all also agree with me? I actually forgot something. The trunk. Aston Martin has said the car is the absolutely perfect all-rounder. What do you need when you claim to be the perfect all-rounder? Naturally, you need a trunk. In my opinion, this car will merely fulfill around 50% of what it takes to be considered the perfect all-rounder. Why? You'll find out soon. Then, once you open it, you've got a full 262 liters. That's not much. I was at the airport yesterday. Just a little cabin trolley and my small backpack here. That fits inside there, or maybe the camera bag, but certainly nothing more. But oh, take a look here. What's this we have there? Aston Martin, made in England. That looks really nice. It feels really good in the hand. Okay, so it is considered high-end too. I can't believe that. It doesn't actually say Aston Martin on it. It says Aston Martin on it. That looks super cool. Probably because of understatement, right? I guess so. Okay, I'd say I'll pack up the umbrella and then we're off to the country road. And now, onto the highway, guys. I promise you we'll feel 680 horsepower and most importantly, we'll hear them. I must honestly confess, the sound is absolutely incredible. Dude, for a car to produce such an amazing sound is simply divine. How it sounds on country roads and later on the highway. As you know, the German Autobahn is coming up quite soon. We're going to check that out right now. Okay, let's get moving. 680 horsepower, low flight. So. Okay, let's go. So the very first thing you notice is that this car is incredibly long at the front end. You're sort of driving along with this large volume V8 engine right in front of you. This is something very, very beautiful, folks. On one hand, very, very beautiful. But I also got to know this at the airport. When you've pulled the ticket, paid for it, and then go back to the car and drive through the barrier, you have to insert the ticket into the barrier. Man, these paths are incredibly and ridiculously narrow. And then it went around a challenging curve where there were really nasty and high curbs on both sides. And I definitely didn't want to damage the 21-inch ones. That's why I had to be extremely careful. And that's also something you need to know. When you're sitting that deep inside, it really feels different to drive with. That just feels very, very different. You know, with a car such as the 911, you simply have an instinctive understanding of what the dimensions are, how long the front is and stuff. And you get a sense from the mirror, okay, there's the sidewalk, so now I can get this close. However, this situation is quite different because it's something you are not familiar with or have not encountered before. You don't drive every day, and that's why I'm really, 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 really looking forward to it. They've included numerous really cool features here, which genuinely have a lot to do with the overall driving dynamics. This switch here, where the start button is the drive mode switch, and here you can select from wet, individual, then GT, which is the normal comfort mode, then sport, it says driving control sport, and then there's sport plus. And now here's the thing. The damper and exhaust are basically adjustable in 3 stages. First, white, which is quiet, then there's a bit of sport in yellow, and red is for sport plus, and the same applies to the damper. I find it cool how it's just so visibly there. So now we'll turn off the ESP, and now you see here, TC5. You can then adjust the traction control using this pin here, where you previously selected the driving modes, and where you do start-stop, you can adjust the TC. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Let's switch into the manual mode. First gear engaged. He's going sideways, and I mean really sideways. This is so beautiful, I have to say. Really very nice. The cool thing, it has a locking differential. It goes from fully open in 130 milliseconds to fully closed. The trucker is really just sitting there comfortably in his underwear, taking a well-deserved break, and you can't help but notice his bright white teeth shining. Ah! And he waved like that. So we didn't upset a single soul, we only ended up spreading joy. That's how it's supposed to be. Oh, this is absolutely nice.
Wow, that's really intense.
Nearly 700 horsepower. Can you believe it? Just think about it. It's 70 kilograms lighter than a BMW M4. However, instead of having 530 horsepower, this car packs a punch with an impressive 680 horsepower. This thing actually moves, and it really does. Just look, for example, I can't read that. So manually, there's this button located down here. You press it and it allows you to read it well when it's dark, but in the light now, you really can't read it anymore. Am I manual now? Yes, let's turn on the seat climate. I've been eager for this all day. Oh boy, in just a couple of seconds, my back got really cold. That's quite nice. So let's make a quick turn here. And now I have the chance to break the edge. Man, that's really awesome. There's a little bit of understeer, but you can easily handle that by applying a slight press on the throttle. So this is absolutely sensational and precisely arranged in the very way I believe it should be, ideally set up for a first-mate driver. If you take a curve too quickly, the car understeers, pushes over the front wheels, takes a wider arc, and doesn't surprise you with the rear end. However, you can quickly override it by gently pressing down on the gas pedal. It's extremely well engineered and truly impressive. So I slightly understeered going in, then I accelerated, a moderate bit of oversteer occurred, TC control kicked in, and I still exited with a slight oversteer, and that's exactly the way it should ideally be. TC3 was that now, with plenty of TC. Let's go and try TC6. It's a small, tight roundabout, so let's just skip it. Wow, that's truly some oven. It's genuinely astounding. They've incorporated so much into this model that it becomes quite difficult to clearly define the first impression it delivers. Engine always on sport and suspension on soft. That way, you really have a car that is very comfortable, like a Bentley Continental GT, something like that. But with the engine with 680 horsepower, man, dude, that thing really pushes. That's really just not normal at all. So Matthias genuinely, truly, and really loves that sort of thing a lot. Let's do the sound check now. So GT, the silencer is basically off. But that's pretty robust, right? I mean, for GT, that's very solid. Now let's switch to the most extreme difference on S+. So the sound is noticeably louder. I can imagine it might seem a bit artificial to some, but that's really not the case. For sure, there's something blended in, but the sound here is undeniably different from what you'd hear in an AMG, even if you're inside one of their vehicles. It's a whole different experience. We're just rolling around here a bit, and I'm really noticing how much people are staring. That's crazy, surprisingly. I mean, you really don't see a car like that every day. And thus, it receives a great amount of well-deserved attention. The shades of brown are simply spectacular, adding an extreme level of beauty to this impressive car. So the brown, gold, bronze, cognac-colored finish, you really have to like it. You have to be into it, no question. But if you go for it, it's honestly extremely beautiful. I'd probably pick it in this Aston Martin green because that's just such a cool color. A very, very cool color, but the bacon as it's presented here, featuring this combination of light brown and dark brown leather on top with diamond pattern stitching and then Alcantara details as well, it looks absolutely stunningly gorgeous. And the processing and the quality of the processing has truly really improved significantly. I really have to say it like this. Honestly, I must confess that the Davy and the display don't please me very much because the response isn't as good. The writing is really, really small. If you have even a slight issue with near vision, you'll need to squint and still won't be able to read it properly. To read it though, that is really tough. But overall, I think you can get along with it quite well. That's no problem at all. And above all, it's a huge step. Back then, it was like a Mercedes navigation system from 2009, and you were already thinking, okay guys, I spent 200,000, and now I get this old school GPS. I might as well pull my old TomTom out of the drawer again. It works. Once you get it, then everything's fine too. But it's kind of something you have to get used to, something you need to adjust to a bit. What you absolutely don't need to focus on here is this right here. Man, this is driving a GT car at its absolute finest, truly the very best. The machine really screams at you that it's too late now. Personally, I genuinely think the sound has turned out very well. It's not overwhelmingly loud here, but it is indeed very present. However, it lacks that distinct upfront hammering sound of the AMG V8 engine that we all absolutely adore. He indeed still possesses it, but it's very far in the background and remarkably subtle. And the hissing sound is a bit more prominent. A little digression on the topic of engine sound while driving. Average use, dot. 30 liters. We'll check again later, right? I believe it's listed at around 12.2 liters. No matter what, we're always honest and upfront when discussing these things. I think it's rated at 12.2 liters. Whatever, we always speak plainly here. No car can achieve that unless you're driving with extreme caution, but it's truly astounding. Driving such an Aston Martin is indeed something very special and unique. You feel wealthy even if you're actually not. As you're sitting in here, you're just pondering, yeah, what do you all really want with your Skodas and your BMWs and your Mercedes cars? I'm cruising around in an Aston Martin, dear friends. Can you believe it? Me, I'm driving an Aston Martin. Just listen to how that sounds. Babe, do you think we should take the Aston Martin for our trip to Davos today? Sure thing, darling, but you will need to send another car behind us, ideally making it a V-Class, where all my suitcases can fit, because nothing fits in here. I mean, back there, sure, you can pack something in, but back there, all the way in the trunk, it's just a carry-on suitcase, a backpack, and a handbag. End. And the umbrella is also in there, so that's pretty cool. However, there seriously is just no space here at all. And that's exactly what I meant earlier when I mentioned that he only fulfills it approximately 50%. The idea that he's the absolute all-rounder is simply not true. He's definitely not. Not at all, not in any way, because you actually need some luggage. This is more like a proper daily. This isn't an all-rounder. This is a really, really awesome daily. Nice to drive to work, sometimes for a business meeting, sometimes a 3-day trip somewhere, or maybe even a week. But definitely not more than that, absolutely not, because the car is simply just too small to accommodate anything more. So you'll have to go with an M4 again. It's also a bit cheaper. We're driving 70 here, 8th gear, automatic shifts like a dream. As smooth as butter, with shock absorbers well set for comfort. It's obvious this is truly a sports car. It's not a question at all, but it's definitely a grand tour. Just like it says GT up there, that's precisely how the car feels in that GT mode and the Sport Plus in Sport Plus mode, guys. effortlessly downshifts, applies gas, and holds the gears for much longer with the joy of revving. That's truly a delight to experience, making it a drivetrain that fits extremely well. And I genuinely find that it almost seemed to be ripped out of the AMG and implanted into the Aston Martin, possessing a truly very, very Aston Martin-like, Martin-esque note. So, this is how you drive around in your Aston Martin. Simply large. As I mentioned before, you feel wealthy, you feel successful, and you feel extremely, extremely classy. That's truly a sophisticated car. It's really something distinct. It's not a Lamborghini, it's not a Ferrari, and it's definitely not a Porsche at all. That's actually pretty unique. It's leaning more towards the direction of a Bentley, but actually there's no Bentley that really goes in the direction of a super sports car. So low and so sporty. A Continental GT is truly a GT. This here is a super sports car. Actually, you can compare the cars quite well, but this one is a car that leans more towards a super sports car, more towards the attack department, rather than comfort and driving 4,000 kilometers in one go. With this one, you can't bring anything along. I've got to keep at it, I really must. But that's the power that's really coming from below. If you now speed up in the fourth gear at about 2100 revolutions, at 3000, the turbo really kicks into action. At 3000, it kicks in and just gives you a substantial boost. Yet he remains sitting here, arm relaxed. By the way, that's quite important indeed. So the car really offers an extreme sense of calm, even in Sport Plus. I'll switch back to GT. We're cruising through a charming little village here. That's something I consider to be quite important, that you can sit in such a car and make yourself comfortable. Yes, these are the sports seats, but they are still cozy. And indeed, this is a supercar, but right here, the armrest is at precisely the same height too. Something that really frustrates me at times is when this part is higher, or that one is higher than the other, because it just throws everything off somehow. When you're in there, if I want to sit like that, I do it this way. But when I'm sitting in here and driving a long stretch on the highway, and I just want to hold the steering wheel with both hands and steer like this, then it needs to be at exactly the same height. And that's the case in this DB12. That makes me very, very happy, even if it's a little thing. But that's the kind of thing you only notice after driving a few kilometers with a machine like this, that it works, that it fits. Here the road is very, very rough. You might think right off the bat, does anything squeak or make a rattling noise? Absolutely nothing at all, guys. Truly nothing whatsoever. The craftsmanship here is genuinely sensational indeed. If you hear something rattling, it's probably a camera or something else, I don't know, coins that I have down there. There's not a sound of creaking coming from the car here. I'm really looking forward to getting on the highway. Because now on the country road, accelerating from 50 to 100 is very impressive, but it's certainly impressive across a wide range of cars. The truly exciting aspect is seeing just how it sustains its power effectively at speeds that exceed 200. 325 kilometers per hour is extremely fast. And if it keeps pulling nicely at the top end, then it's really impressive. And I actually expect that. Because with 680 horsepower, it has to kick in really brutally. Above 200 kilometers per hour, this thing has to pull like crazy. Speaking of pulling, on this country road, now we can finally let it really rip. Stayed in fourth gear. Absolutely brutal. Nothing can unsettle this car. It's incredibly well designed, inspiring a lot of trust in you. We're about to drive on a road that's very, very bumpy. The car instills a great deal of confidence in you. The steering is very direct around the center position. It's actually more important to have really good steering than an incredibly impressive suspension or that super sports car-like feel that you say, okay, that's just neutral, and then if anything, if it over or understeers, it oversteers. This is something for very, very experienced drivers. And no offense to Aston Martin, but this isn't a track car, which is why regular folks drive it around. It absolutely has to possess a pleasing feel, appear nice, and drive very well indeed. And by nice, I mean that it's just incredibly easy to handle, it doesn't overwhelm or frustrate you, it's sporty, and it's well tuned and tight. That it's truly intense and exhilarating, but it shouldn't overwhelm you or make things too difficult. And that's exactly the case with this first Martin. He listens much like a truly well-trained, obedient dog, and importantly, he doesn't overwhelm you. He remains calm.
Big mistakes disrupt him, but stability ensures smooth handling. He's adaptable and ensures safety. Then he gets a little more nervous. We saw that he goes sideways too. Nevertheless, aside from that, it truly is a vehicle that offers pure and absolute enjoyment. On the country road and probably, what on earth are you beeping for? There was absolutely nothing at all. It was nothing. It was absolutely nothing at all. And you all definitely heard how it was making that squeaking noise. So thin, 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 and thin. Park distance control failed. Pick it again and show what he's good at. Friends of the night. So, one thing you won't complain about in this car is a lack of performance. On the country road. We're still cruising on the country road. And later tonight we'll head onto the highway and really let it fly. We'll indulge in a really nice sundowner. We're going to burn through a full 50 liters of premium quality V-Power fuel. I'd guess so. Now I'll take a little break, drink something nice, eat something delicious, and then we'll see each other on the highway again. Out on the highway there's the sign, just go for it. 150, 180, 200. 230, 250, you know, this car feels incredibly stable on the road. 270, and it's truly astonishing how incredibly quick this car is speeding along, isn't it? Holy moly, what's going on? That was really quick to 270. Does it keep going this fast? That's exactly the question I'm asking myself. Does this car keep pulling strong even above 270? I mentioned earlier starting at 200 something really has to happen. Now we agree, starting at 200 something definitely happens. Wow, that's crazy. 680 horsepower, 800 newton meters of torque, supposed to run at a top speed of 325 kilometers per hour. Let's take a look. Here comes a really nice straight section after that curve. We're at 150, then 160, moving up to 170, and wow, we're hitting 180, 200, 250, then 60, 70, and we're still climbing at 280, 290, finally reaching 300. Wow, this really feels like a breeze. Up next, there's the curve. Careful, it's 250. The car stays stable, smooth ride, bumps are coming, but they don't pose an issue. Another bump. Now at 240. Boy, this car handles well. Boy, this car handles well. We're going down to 160. The guy in the Skoda probably thinks it's 150. He's really quick. And swiftly gone. What's going on with all that loud hammering noise up there? 92 again. There are the 300 again. 310. Okay. 316. Man, that's brutal. There's just too much traffic at the moment. It's simply too much. We can't push through like this. Well, we've started chipping away at it already, haven't we? So wicked how he's going off. Now already 250. The car is really also, I'll play it low now. You still hear more engine than wind noise, good sign. So you can hear the wind noise, but it's really totally okay. Man, we're going at impressive 170. That's the incredible power and the serene, stoic calm of a top-tier supercar that comfortably goes over 300. It feels like at 150, 160, 170, what we're driving right now, it just feels like other cars at 100. That's truly how it is. I keep noticing it time and again. These cars feel at high speeds just like other cars. When you're going at a much slower, almost sleep-like speed. What do we see at the end on the speedometer? What can we manage to do? Let's just take a closer look. Let's go, baby. So, 200. Full throttle. There are the 250 again. That's brutally good. 290. 337, 39. gear effortlessly. Then he's heading towards VMAX. Right lane is clear, mate. Yeah, now I'm reaching 300 on the clock once again. I bump, need to brake. Wow, no problem at all. No problem at all. From 300 to 150, no problem at all. In ABS, not a problem at all. Wow, this machine is definitely built for high speed. It absolutely loves high speed, just like we do. Now the slight undertone, you probably won't hear it anymore, but I can still hear the engine. And you're going 230, you know, you can go 100 kilometers per hour faster, fits faster. My dear goodness, I'm not rushing right now because I can see there are people up ahead, and it's just too much for me. One car, no issue, since you know it won't just drive over. If there's the slightest suggestion or hint that someone might choose to drive out, we surely won't proceed with it. Quite simple. Now we'll start right away from 200. 140, 250, 60, 70, 80, 90, 230, 250, 270, 80, 92, and it's gently and slowly going just slightly uphill. Then we eventually reach 300. 310. Still continuing slightly uphill. 312, 314. Now finally it's completely flat again. 318. 321, 322. At last I'm letting go of my entire body now. From 3.22 going up to 122. Boy, is that amazing. I absolutely love it. And I adore even more that this car not only accelerates so brutally fast, but also brakes so incredibly hard. And that with a stoic calm on the brakes, nothing at all gets nervous at the rear, nothing at all. That's really crazy. Average consumption from, what did we have, 25 to 23.3, the 4.5 times 300 driving, totally fine. So, let's change direction once. Let's see if it's less crowded on the other side. And again, just very briefly, the interior, the quality, it's truly a really, really big step. How often have we sat in an Aston Martin, even at grip, right? And thought to ourselves, what have they cobbled together there? And that they were so bad in the interior, you really have to say it like that. That always used to be such a shame, but now it's truly a whole different story. That's really turned out to be pretty fantastic now. Let's get moving. 100, 150, 200. That's amazing. 250. Guys, we've got 680 horsepower in a production car. 310. 312. 7th gear is in. It's not the 8th, it's the 7th. 323, 29, 30, 31, 32. I have to brake again. Ah man, that would go 340, I'm telling you. That's 7th gear, not 8th. There's still room for improvement in terms of gearing. Man, this thing's truly got serious kick. It's unbelievable how powerful it is. Man, this thing's truly got a remarkably impressive amount of kick. It's absolutely unbelievable just how incredibly powerful it really is. 330. 35, 34. I have to brake again. It's quite a shame, really. This car would certainly hit 340, I swear to you. I can tell it's not going to work again. The issue is, with all that speed, you need so much room. So many kilometers free. There are again 3.20 on the clock, 3.27. He just pulls out without signaling. Bumps. He handles them very, very well. 3-speed bumps are no problem for him at all. So Final speed, 336 kilometers per hour. We asked at the start, is this Aston Martin good? Does it really maintain its strength and keep pushing hard, even beyond 200 and up into the 300s? Honestly, it's a remarkably impressive powerhouse. It's really insane how he performs, constantly driving 300 kilometers per hour over and over again, not slowing down. 336 kilometers per hour top speed, so it does 325 safely. I think it's capped. This is a fantastic knife, this Aston Martin DB12. It is incredibly fun. An ultra cool cruiser. You set everything back to soft or to individual, ultra sharp, damping soft, steering also soft. Then you drive the thing with your little finger. With 200 on the highway or at 30 through the city streets. It's honestly a truly sensational car. Once again, the quality within the beautifully designed interior is a massive leap forward indeed. It was urgently needed and it fits very, very well in line with the brand's image. Or rather, to be more precise, now the interior truly aligns perfectly with the brand as a whole. Brand. The following defects are noted. The trunk is too small and only children can comfortably sit in the rear seats. The entertainment system is kind of laggy, I would say. Occasionally when you press it, it just doesn't function as it should. That's about all there is to it. Otherwise, the exterior design is absolutely divine. The interior has turned out to be just perfect. Exceptionally beautiful and remarkably stylish. The manner in which these rollers function and everything that's part of it is truly stunning and quite impressive. And it works well and looks good. And that's not always the case. Sometimes something looks great but doesn't work. But here, both really fit, works very, very well. I believe this is a pre-production car, so everything is preliminary. Nevertheless, my overall judgment remains quite positive despite the criticism, because it's simply a truly stunning, absolutely wonderful, extremely exciting and remarkably fast car to drive. I say thank you for watching. Tune in again next time, either Wednesday at 15 o'clock or Saturday at 13 o'clock. I haven't made up my mind yet, so I truly hope you have a great evening or delightful morning. Sleep well, wake up refreshed, and enjoy your lunch break to the fullest. Savor your wonderful meal to the fullest. May it be absolutely delightful, and enjoy a pleasant and restful midday nap. Thank you so much.